Jesus Christ, it's so fucking cold in my room.
No. The parents decided there would be a wedding. And after the wedding, Hannah moved in with his parents. There was no way I could follow. So we were separated again. I stayed in the attic. It was hard. It's like I suddenly didn't exist. I would sneak out, but in case anyone recognized me, I started wearing a wig. Hannah and I would meet up in the park. I was trying to get pregnant. But I couldn't. I couldn't do it with anyone we knew, so it was sex with strangers. Drunk guys I'd met in clubs, in parks and alleyways. I was 17. It felt like I was being punished. But it was Hannah who had betrayed us. I had to stop when one of the guys gave me an STD.
Oh no, because now the other one has to
When
get
we
an
met up,
STD
it was
too.
disturbing. For the first time, my reflection, she didn't look like me. She was fatter, flushed. If anything, I was getting skinnier. I found it hard to look sometimes. We talked about what to do. Was it time to become our own people? That seemed like the right thing to do, but neither of us wanted it. We agreed that her and Simon would get their own place as soon as possible, and then I could move in. And that was the plan.
Okay, so let me piece that little bit together, because that just answered a couple potential questions that we were asking earlier. Like, why would we be hiding one in the attic? So at 17, they kind of got forced into marriage because of the wedding, because of the pregnancy. They got forced to get married, and it was after that because they moved in with Simon's parents, and then shortly after that, at some point, the other one got pulled in and hidden in the attic. However, because of the pregnancy, the difference between the two was too different. So they were going to have trouble. Is it Simon's parents then that got married? That got murdered? Because I don't know the chronological order of those events. Because I don't know exactly whose parents necessarily were then murdered or found dead. Stink, Necroxix, stink. Fuck! I was gonna try and search something, and I freaking forgot what. I sort of we searched STD before. Oh, maybe not.
I was living in the attic. It was a very hard time. I was depressed, was still pretty sick of the STD. And I came down one morning and they were dead.
So Simon's parents were dead.
They were in bed and both had been sick. They'd thrown up a lot.
Food poisoning?
And I'd slept through it. The police said it was the mushrooms they ate. Dad was a mushroom expert. He used to take us picking with him, and he taught us how to recognize them.
So they were poisoned.
And there's no way you would have picked death caps. But the police believe that's what happened. They never even looked in the attic.
where the other one was hiding. So killing off the parents might have been part of the plot, or some sort of kind of one person's choice to go behind the other's back and do that to fix the problem somehow. But when they moved.
The legal stuff was completed very quickly. Hannah moved back in with Simon. Eric gave Simon the week off to help with the move. He decorated, modernised wallpaper curtains. Hannah insists the attic be left as it was, dollhouse and all. Simon never went up there. So I moved out. Got a small bed sit. Got my tattoo to mark the occasion. I was singing in a bar in the evenings, so I had some money, enough money to cover my rent. And I've been doing something similar ever since. I haven't put down any roots. I don't exist.
So at some point, I think this is Eve. She moved out, whereas Hannah kept the identity that they had built. So she wouldn't have a license or identification or anything.
I worked there.
I did search tattoo.
And Simon had a part-time job there too. That was Eric's generosity. He was always good at helping out other people's children. Simon was quiet, more thoughtful than the other boys. Even then, he had a sense of craftsmanship. Wasn't always rushing stuff. Boys that age are just running around like headless chickens most of the time. You know? Plus he had that look. He looked like a fairy tale prince from one of my books.
We already did tattoo earlier. Wait, what? Are there more results? This looks a little more full. Is it possible as time goes on it's adding more videos to the pool? Or am I just crazy? Because I know we searched tattoo before and we clicked through them, unless the eyeball didn't mark it correctly, which we've been seeing.
Oh, my tattoo. I got it to express my individuality.
Oh yeah, she's an expert on individuality.
It's an apple and a snake.
Yeah, apples and snakes. Total symbol of individuality. Like, see, it didn't freaking mark it as viewed for some reason.
He saw me singing one of my shows. Pure chance. Not sure I remember what he was even doing there. Afterwards, I had a drink at the bar and he came over and we got talking. I knew who he was. Obviously I knew who he was. But he didn't know who I was. He was fascinated by the likeness. He guessed my name from my tattoo. Told me it was a palindrome, like that would impress me.
That's what you did to the interview in the first...
Talking to him. It was amazing to be able to sit and interact and talk to him after all this time. He didn't tell me he was married. I'm not sure what he was thinking. He later told me it was like he was dreaming. a waking dream.
Another different song? 1 minute 48. That's different.
Really? Okay. Here's the rest.
Oh, the rest of the other song?
Oh, they laid a body on the dock to dry. Oh, the wind and the rain, till a fiddler with a fiddle came walking by. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle bow of her long hair. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made a fiddle bow of her long blonde hair. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made fiddle pegs of her finger bows. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made fiddle pegs from her finger bows. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle out of her breastbone. Oh, the wind and rain. The sound could pierce a heart of stone. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. But the only tune that the fiddle could play was oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, the only tune that the fiddle could play was oh, the dreadful wind and rain. Anything you sing may be used as evidence against you.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that still counts as, it could be used against you in the court of law. I could just imagine if I was like a rapper or something, sitting in front of a judge, and like the judge would like pull up like printed lyric sheets and be like, Necroxix, let me quote you on some of your lyrics. I'm a papa cap in that police ass on the night of the 29th of August. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that'll get used against me. I'm just curious. Okay. Did I ever look up the stairs as a keyword? Yeah, I did. Wonder if there's something different. I wonder if when this chit chat thing came up, it added more videos or not. Because I swear, like when we typed tattoo, we didn't have 4 videos before. I could be wrong. New, as in a new life or a new personality. Dual. Yeah, something is seemingly changing. I just don't know what. Because I think at this point we've already reached the end of the game, per se, even though we have lots of unfinished videos. So it's like if we're going to look at more, we gotta do it probably now before we finish the chit-chat thing.
From when I woke up. Okay. I woke up. Simon was already up, and he made me birthday breakfast of eggs Benedict. We both had to go to work, so we saved presents till later. I got to work, had some birthday cake. Children sang me happy birthday. Then I came home. The birthday meal was a takeaway, and Simon gave me his present, which I didn't mind. And after that, we talked about the baby. It turned into a big argument. Simon left. I was furious. I wanted to get as far away as I could and get some space to think. So I left.
Yeah. The thing is, like, as far as game kind of investigative stuff goes, if you could watch all of it in chronological order, it would probably give everything away and there wouldn't be anything to quote-unquote solve, because it looks like she explains it in the final interview throughout. We already searched poison. I just don't know if there's new entries. No, there isn't. Here's some new stuff. What do we got? 6:30.
I sleep on the right side of the bed as you come in from the door. You can tell because I have 2 pillows and he just has 1.
Okay.
I parked up in the street. It was busy, so I had to park down the end of the road. Walked up, knocked on the door, no answer. I took my keys out of my bag and unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. You can tell because the key doesn't turn when you try to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes in the shoe rack. I shouted out. I walked straight into the kitchen because he usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper, but he wasn't there. I touched the kettle, it was cold. I looked quickly in the living room, nothing. So I walked upstairs to the bedroom and he wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. I had a shower. The phone rang whilst I was in the shower. I didn't answer it. I think it was Eric. Then I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, though I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. This time I spoke to him. Then I called Doug and Eleanor. And then I decided to come and see you. Eleanor?
That's still when it was missing persons. That's on 7/1.
Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I parked down the end of the road. I walked up to the house. I knocked on the door. No answer. I took my keys out of my bag, unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. I could tell because the key wouldn't turn when I tried to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes on the shoe rack. I shouted out for him. I walked straight into the kitchen. He usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper. He wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly into the living room. Nothing. I walked upstairs to the bedroom. He wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. Then I had a shower. Whilst I was in the shower, the phone rang. I think it was Eric, his boss. I didn't answer it. Then I came out and I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, but I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. I spoke to him. Then I called Simon's parents. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough?
That's the same almost story as the other one we just saw a moment ago, from a different day. Similar recollection of events, slight differences. In one, she reported like shouting for him and checking the kitchen as well, yeah, mostly the same, but a little bit different on the details. one said, like, she called or something, like the second one said, like, Eric's parents, whereas the other one actually gave their names instead, but... Kind of evidence might we find. This is on 702. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Mostly same, slightly different delivery.
Rehearsed? You ask me the same question, you'll get the same answer. Is that your evidence? Of course I thought about what happened then. It's all I've thought about. My husband is dead.
So I think the cops weren't buying it. Slight discrepancies between the stories, which makes sense. That's one of the things when it comes to lying is one thing you look for is differences in the stories, because usually it's difficult to keep up a lie. The more times you have to tell it, the more other information you have to add to the story. It creates a conundrum in the end. Trained investigators or interrogators are kind of like really highly trained to work with that kind of stuff. Way better than normal people like Suze and I. Can I just type in like an incomplete word? No. Yeah, there's 2 more, or 3 more. This is from 627.
Yes, like a story. A beginning, a middle, and an end.
And we're about to end this woman's career.
Well, she has a knife. But she's been cooking, I guess. She's been cooking him his favourite meal. She's his wife.
His favourite meal, Taco Bell.
He's asleep and she doesn't want to wake him because he's ill. That's why she's sad. Because he's ill and he might die. Kind of a sad story, so I'm not sure how it ends.
Is that something like an ink blot test? Like, here's a picture or painting or something, tell us a story? 'Cause that would definitely make, if they gave these two the same thing, they would interpret it differently. You can't preemptively rehearse that.
Well, she wasn't my real mother, but she raised me. Do you want to hear the story?
Yes.
It's a real life fairy tale.
No, it's not.
Sorry. The picture, the way it's drawn, just
Different take.
reminded me of the books we used to read as children. I read those fairy tales over and over, and they were so real to me. Rapunzel was my favourite. My brain is just full of it. How many of these in colour?
So they did administer that probably to the other one. Although we just didn't get the right search term to manage that one. Search Rapunzel?
Simon never cheated on me.
Okay. I don't know how to
He
spell it.
was devoted to me, and I was devoted to him. Nothing in life is easy. We were good to each other. Life isn't a fairy tale.
I know, I already said that earlier. It's not.
You do what you can.
I don't know how to spell Rapunzel. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna accept those search terms. Yeah, I have no idea how to spell it.
Fairy tales. Stories about lost princesses, evil witches, magical mirrors, and lost children. So you see, even before I knew the truth, I'd found it in those stories.
Yes, Disney's to blame. It's all Disney's fault this murder happened. Yep. Tale. There's a manga called Fairy Tale spelled like that. That's... There once was a man named...
Yes. I speak with Eleanor at least once a day. Not that there's anything much to say. It's more just...
You idiot. Hey.
No, I'm okay.
My vagina's all wet.
Can I leave?
No.
Are you going to arrest me? No. They'd laugh you out of the building. A lawyer would make mincemeat of you. Are you arresting me? No. Fuck off. Open this door.
Can't take that tone with the officers. But this is... Same day. And this is like 17 seconds on the minute versus 33 seconds on the minute. Two different things. Like, same... See, here she's like, can I leave? Boom. And oh, then she's trying to get up, and then I guess this is...
Are you arresting
Okay,
me?
yeah.
No.
Never mind. It all makes sense. My brain just kind of overanalyzed something. This is 7:03.
Yes.
Yes.
I understand my rights. No, I don't need a lawyer.
A lawyer will really help you right now. I'm just saying.
Yes. No lawyer. What are you going to arrest me for?
Murder. Conspiracy to commit murder. Lying to law enforcement. I believe that's a federal crime, isn't it? Oh, but this is Britain, right? So, I don't know. Or some Europe thing. Southeast. We'll just pretend it's Southeast Asia. I don't know why I searched Starbucks. Leave? Sure. Okay, we've got 2 videos. This is on 7:03. About 20 minutes apart.
Mother wanted me to grow my hair long, but I kept cutting it myself. I wanted to look like my reflection. She always had short hair when she was little. Mother would hide the scissors, but I would find a way. Cut it with a bread knife, something like that. My reflection would always leave her house and go on adventures, but I never could. Mother taught me at home, and I had books and TV. Oh, TV was magical, but it was only on when it wanted to be, so
Moving
I
pictures.
spent a lot of time reading books.
Play. Ouija.
When beautiful people died, we always felt like it was a sign. You remember Princess Grace? Grace Kelly? She died in a car crash the year before we met Simon. We used a Ouija board to speak to her, and that gave us the power to find him. That's what we thought then.
We never looked up Ouija.
That people who died tragically leave some kind of magic behind. We used to share dreams.
Bullshit.
We used to wake up and write them down in our diaries immediately and compare them.
I don't buy it. Is that how you spell Ouija? Fuck, I don't know how to spell Ouija. Where's my... Oh, this one. Gotta find that video again. Because of course it doesn't know how to spell Ouija. O-U-I-J-A. Ouija. 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 Fuck. Oh wait, those were the only two videos that ever... Actually, I got a better idea. Reflection. Worth a shot. Yeah, we got a couple. How's this look? I'm almost wondering too if it's kind of like I want to say irresponsibly anyways, almost like a Metroidvania type of thing. Like if each one of these represents a video in the database, but some videos won't show up in the search terms or something until a different one shows up. All in the name of LOL, scrambled data, or something like that. Like, one of them is yellow.
Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight.
Out of sight, out of sight.
It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different.
Yeah, the damn nappy-headed hose. No
I
one
grew
wants
up
to see
looking
them.
out of my window and seeing her across the road. I thought it was like a reflection in the mirror. She was me.
She was me, except I was her. And I was washing nappies and shit.
Yes. The first time we saw each other, it was strange. We both realised at the same moment, I think. We must have seen each other before, but there was this instant when we first realised it wasn't a reflection. The reflection was staring back. I think I was 5. It was my birthday. My reflection was wearing a party hat and waving. I knew what party hats were from books. And it suddenly occurred to me, today must be my birthday. I waved back and we just spent ages waving at each other and copying each other's movements.
It's just like working in a parade. That's pretty much all you do. So is it possible that they were separated at birth and then they kind of found each other apparently at a really early age? Just by chance? I don't see why that would matter at this point, but...
I wanted to see my reflection.
I
I thought that if I touched her, something would happen. We would become one. One girl. The fairy tale was over, the witch was dead, and I'd be restored to my rightful place.
that's kind of what I'm getting out of that. Yeah, I think this must be like the viewed roadmap or whatever. Is it Nappy or Nappy? I don't even know how to spell Nappy, holy fuck. My phone would. My phone would totally know. I think we already searched split for split personality. I was thinking split up at birth. Did we search birth? Branch or branched? I'm going in a different direction, but that didn't give me anything either. Let's look at some of the other names. Eleanor was one of them. I forgot the other.
Yeah. I've been round to Doug and Eleanor's.
Doug.
They're very worried. I feel sorry for them. Yeah. 1984 was an awful year in the end. We were living at Doug and Eleanor's. I lost the baby at the end of spring and my parents died in the summer. It was a hot summer, a heat wave. So when they discovered the bodies, it was just awful. Because of the circumstances, them dying together like that, they brought in a lot of police. A forensic entomologist. I had to look that up. It was because of the heat.
We never looked up forensic, did we? I looked for autopsy, but not forensic. Fuck, I don't know how to spell forensic. Forensic. Oh, okay, that's the only mention of it. Yeah, like I say, I watched 2 videos and they lit up. So yeah, there must be probably roughly half of these that we have not seen, let alone in order. I use numbers? Like if I put in a number 1. Darn. How about the letter E? E. At some point she said E. But why?
It's like I told you before. I drove. I took the car and drove. I don't have my own car, but I have a spare set of keys. I just drove north. I wanted to think, put some space between me and them. Everything I told you before is true. I stopped at Glasgow. I was tired, exhausted. I pulled out and I hit a car. My car was okay, but I was worried about the baby, so I went to A&E to get the okay. Everything was fine. Slept in the car. When I woke, I tried to call Hannah from a payphone. She wasn't answering. And then I decided to drive back. I had decided that she was more important to me than Simon.
That is different. And that's on the 703 where she's kind of spilling all the real information, I think. We did look up Glasgow, but there was a lot of other results, I think. Say it's limited to the first 5 entries. So without being able to refine that search somehow, not much I can do. There was something about these like blank tags too. I don't remember how that was supposed to work, but it was like when you typed in blank, it gave you everything. And then I think you were supposed to like change the term slightly or something, and I don't know. It was some way they gave access essentially in chronological order to all the videos, but yeah. She had a taxi and she went to the ER. And yes. And I don't think the other one mentioned pregnancy or anything either. And she did mention she didn't have a license. So yeah, Can we get more with just the word text? No. Either inconsistent or inconsistencies. As in, like, what inconsistencies? What you talking about? Maybe I can't spell, I don't know. Think, Necroxix, think. Think. Do we even ever stare or stairs? Okay, no. The bags, the body.
When will the police let me back in the house? And they let me take a bag of clothes with me, but...
Damn. It is run body.
The bruise.
The bruise.
I have a really fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes.
What?
I don't know if there's much more that I can tell you that I haven't already told the other policemen. I found the body.
The bruise. Is it possible one of them was bruised and spotted and then the other one did not have time to get the bruise or something? Or was it...
Bruise? Oh, yeah, no, it's not.
Other side.
I was going through the top cupboard in my kitchen and the chair slipped and I kind of hit the door with my face.
She does have
It
a
hurt
bruise
like
here.
hell.
But we just saw a moment ago on the other one, she went for her left hand, or the right side of her face. Our left. But at this point, it's like, nah, that doesn't really matter. We kind of know that there seems to be two completely different people sharing as much information as they can.
This was about 9. I went round and she was waiting for me. She was furious and so angry. The kind of anger you can only have towards yourself. We screamed at each other, argued, cried, we fought.
Fapped.
I hit her back, left a bruise. I had my wig on from performing, she tore it off. Eventually, we grew tired of fighting and I left.
Context. I need context, goddammit. I'm not sure what else to search at this point. If you have any ideas, by all means, tell me now. Assuming this is in sequence, I'm assuming that the interview that kind of spills the real beans is in the lower section, because I think the last one we saw was represented in the yellow. I was This is 6:18.
No. I think he spoke to Helen. She said he was upset about her
I
argument.
never looked up
but
Helen.
I'm not sure what else he said. He likes Helen. He likes blondes.
Yeah, blonde bleaches to white pretty easily. I can see that. Yeah, so that one was up there somewhere. Damn. I don't know what else to search right now. I'm just drawing blanks. Attic cellar, we did all that. Like, we kind of have the rough idea of the whole thing. There's one hit with that. 701.
This other person doesn't exist.
Yes, they do.
I don't know what the blonde wig is, but it could be anything. Have you looked at the cat flap?
What the fuck is a cat flap? Don't believe we looked up the wig. As a phrase.
A wig? You mean... But what type of wig?
Why do you need to know the type of wig?
No, I've never worn a wig. What kind of wig?
Yeah, at least one of them wears a wig. Lied. Lie. Let's just go through every word in the dictionary.
I don't know if anyone really changes. You just become more yourself. Simon was my prince, and that hasn't changed.
Why is he dead? Wanna answer me that one? Feels like we're almost at the end here. Just last ditch to kind of see what else we could find. Think. We don't quite have a clean-cut understanding of what's going on as far as the motivation. Like, why exactly did the parents have to be killed? Why did Simon have to be killed? Like, what is the actual reason for that, or the motive? Because it might be for protection, or to protect their particular identity thing, or something else. I haven't really...
That's all that matters, really. The baby.
Fuck the baby.
Simon's dead, but the baby, that's how he will live on.
That's not how this works.
Our baby. You're reaching here. Oh, I don't know why. No, I've never cheated on anyone. I've never taken anything from anyone. Simon's dead. But I have my baby to care for. Why are you trying to make me sad? Why are you so obsessed with sex and affairs? You cheated on your wife. Is this your thing?
You don't attack the interrogator. He's just doing his job.
It was supposed to be a secret. Just because Simon is dead, it doesn't mean I have to give up all his secrets. It doesn't have anything to do with what happened to Simon. No one murdered my husband because he cheated his expenses for a romantic weekend in Oxford.
Oxford? What?
There was a conference, something to do with double glazing. In Oxford?
Oh yeah, the double glazing conventions are huge. Bigger than, like, E3 and Burries.
Are you sure? What would he be doing in Oxford if there was no conference? I remember calling him. He said it was boring and he spent most of the time at the bar. Nothing else happened that night. We talked, then I said goodbye. Then next week I was singing the bar again and there he was. And again the next week. He offered to buy me a meal. I told him I had already eaten, and so we got chips and ate them on the beach instead. When we said goodbye, he asked me to kiss him.
Ew.
Romantic.
Yeah, what Zelfo said kind of reminds me of back when I still lived in Chicago. My sister called me up. She went to go see her boyfriend, and so she couldn't really make it home. Asked me if I could go and feed the cat, which was like the food dish and stuff was in my mom's master bathroom. So I said okay, and tell me where to go. And so I was still on the phone with her, and I went to the bathroom, and the cat was lying there. And like when you see a dead body, you instantly know something's wrong. And it was dead. It was like stiff and stuff, and it was laying in a normal kind of position. I'm like, cat's dead. She flipped her shit. She's like, are you kidding me? Like, she was already in tears, and I'm like poking the cat and stuff. This thing is 100% dead, and I could see the tampon wrapper or whatever it was that it choked on. She made it home about 15 minutes later. And I have a bad way with words. Because I'm the type of asshole. Like, not intentionally. It's just like I'm the type of guy where it's like, I don't think you have to worry about feeding anymore. Why? Is it already fed? No, it's dead. And I was just watching AI stuff the other day, so it's like the sense of logic is different. It's kind of like if you made an artificial intelligence and you gave it one objective, like end world hunger, use all the resources and your processing power and the neural network to solve world hunger. Oh, it'll solve it. Kill the entire population on the planet. Population 0. No more world hunger, right? That's kind of how that goes. Yeah, it choked on the wrapper itself. It got into the cabinet under the sink.
Nothing else happened that night. We talked, then I said goodbye. Then next week I was singing the bar again, and there he was. And again the next week, he offered to buy me a meal. I told him I had already eaten, and so we got chips and ate them on the beach instead. When we said goodbye...
Wait, we already watched this video. Why is it still... It didn't unmark it, you damn stupid database thing.
No. I told her it was one of my boyfriends, someone I had met in the bar. I think she was happy. But I could tell she was thinking, why couldn't it happen to her and Simon? They were the ones with the real life. why not them?
Okay, so nothing else for romantic. Yeah. Any last ideas before I do the chit-chat thing instead? Because that might give me some answers or closure. Hell knows. Yeah. I'm just kind of like doing little phrases. I would totally do that, or totally not do that. I got a couple of bits.
No,
Yes.
I'm not sure what strange would be, but he hasn't been acting odd. He's been busy at work, but nothing too stressful.
That must have been the missing persons period. It's like, has he been stressed at work?
Sure, yes, of course, if that would help. Will you phone the house to let me know when you want to come round? Then I can make sure that I'm there. God, I don't know. Could be anyone. Maybe someone followed him back from the pub. But why would he let them in? Doesn't make sense. That was deadly. Nada. All I really want is something that would do a motive. Like, give me the motive for the actual murders. Like, what would have been the logical reasoning behind it? That's like the last piece in the puzzle in my head that I want to be satisfied. You think you got the motive? Because it's still kind of up in the air for me. Like, for example, why is Simon dead? And I guess, did the baby actually get born, or was it stillborn? Did Simon find out there were two, though? I don't think it was the case. Because I don't remember anything that specifically made that obvious. No, I have never been unfaithful. I've never cheated on Simon. Have I ever cheated on Simon? You asked that question yesterday.
Jig. Then the jig was up. Found out. Damn. Give me more vocabulary. More verbs. while he was out of the house. Now, yeah, I think I'm out of ideas. Let's go ahead and click on this. Hey, you done? Can't even type like normal. I can only press Y, E, and S or N-O. Alright, let's do it. Yes, we're done, I think. So, you think you understand why your mother did what she did? Where the baby? Do I think I understand why my mother did what she did? Not really. Yes? I'm glad, Sarah. I'll be waiting outside. Log off and we can meet over the road. Is that part of the game? Do I... Does something happen if I do that? Ah, we get the credits. So, I gotta say, like, even though we still don't have the full story, I really loved it. I think I like it more than the one that came out 4 years later, just the other day. That was, her telling lies is what it was called. This one was more simplified. The story was really cool. It took us a while before we realized what was going on as far as like the identity stuff. It kind of threw a couple curveballs, and we had some interesting theories or hypothesis. More than one hypothesis up in the air, trying to, come up with ideas. And it seems like the real objective is understanding why your mother did it. We must have been the baby in question. So these would have been our mother, I guess. And I think no is probably the real answer. I should have typed in. I don't know if that would have broken something. Like, I don't actually know why they did exactly what they did at the end. Maybe if I got some of those other fragments, I might. I don't know. I also love that the actual seek bar exists. That's something that was a downgrade in their newer game. But on the plus side, the videos are mostly short segments, and being one-sided discussion videos is not a problem. It worked here in this setting much better than it did in the other game. Yeah, I liked this. I really did.